Hey, what's up, guys? Andy here, and welcome back to yet another video. But this time today, I'm doing a review video on one of the pretty recent Paw Patrol episodes that actually came out just yesterday. And it was an episode that I was particularly pretty intrigued by and also very interested because this episode's plot said that every single member of the Paw Patrol was going to be in this mission to try to stop a new villain from trying to take over and destroy the town. And I was like, are they actually being serious and they're going to involve every single Paw Patrol member? And when the promo came out just about a couple weeks ago, we ended up being proven right. Every single member of the Paw Patrol that we have gotten so far in the series did make an appearance, even including two former antagonists who have become, I guess, somewhat friends with the Paw Patrol. But of course, when I found out that this was going to be a 22-minute episode, I had some pretty big concerns, to say the least. Because for one, I was like, if this really is going to be a 22-minute episode and not a 44-minute or an hour-long special, how are they going to include everyone in? And are they just going to cram everyone in and all the members that we're going to see is only gonna get a maximum of 1 or 2 lines? Or are we actually going to somehow get something a little bit more from them than just a couple of lines or sentences? And, well, we did get that to some extent. I'll talk about that a bit later. Because just yesterday, I managed to watch and see this episode for myself. Because we are reviewing today All Paws on Deck. Now, before we even start off with the review and what happened in this episode, let's first take a look at the title card. If I'm being completely honest, this is probably hands down the best title card that I have ever seen Paw Patrol make or do, where it includes all of the members of the Paw Patrol plus the two former antagonists, Sweetie and Arby, all together in a group, looking as epic as always, and with this episode being written by Louise Moon, who is also responsible for a lot of the Merpop episodes, as well as the Jet to the Rescue special. So I was like, alright, this special is already in good hands with a decent writer. But of course, I was still pretty skeptical about this episode. But anyway, let's start and begin into it. So basically, Ryder and Mayor Goodway, Chase and Rocky were in Adventure Bay in Town Hall, and they were waiting for a famous kid inventor named Cody Gizmody. And apparently, Rocky has been quite a big fan of her, and you could tell he was pretty excited. And boy, was he in for a big surprise later on for this episode. And so she arrived in Adventure Bay on what looked like a Skyrim of some sort, And she also had a sidekick robot who she named LED. And I find that as a pretty interesting touch. And she also apparently can speak in pretty much every single different language. And Cody pretty much said she wanted a tour of Adventure Bay, and actually invited Mayor Goodway to for a ride on her Skyrim and show her around the place and the town. And apparently, Mayor Goodway just thought that the reason why she was visiting and coming to Adventure Bay was because she thought that she was planning to live there and find a location for her to be in. But when Cody Gizmody reveals to Mayor Goodway that she actually wants to buy the whole town, Mayor Goodway explained to her that the town was not for sale, but said that she might help her over uh, uh, going to lunch and talk about maybe if she could buy some place where she could live in. Cody Gizmody was not too happy about Mayor Goodway's rejection, and she decides that even if Mayor Goodway said no to her, that she was still going to turn the town into her own liking. So, what did she do? She decided to teleport and move away almost every single building that was in Adventure Bay and teleport them to any random location with one of her other gadgets, which is a teleporting gray. Mayor Goodway then calls the Paw Patrol about Mr. Porter's cafe being missing for a little bit. And when Ryder explained to the pups at the lookout about the mission that they were going to be on, Cody Gizmody ended up teleporting both Ryder and all of the main six pups onto a tree. And after that happened, Cody Gizmody then decided to create some guard drones to make sure that she would not get distracted while she was working on getting rid of all the other buildings. And in the next scene, we found the Cat Pack and the Mighty Twins perhaps competing with each other in a race. And I will say, I was pretty happy to see that the other Paw Patrol members seem like they actually do have interactions with each other and do have time to be with each other, which is pretty nice to see. Although, I'm kind of hoping we get more moments of that in the future. I know Spin Master probably will likely won't do that because they're more focused on the missions and the rescues. But I will say I was pretty happy to see the other side members of the Paw Patrol, especially from different sub-series, actually somewhat interacting with each other. And then we got cut to Sweetie, who it seemed like she had finally managed to accomplish her lifelong dream by getting the crown of Barkingburg. But just as she was celebrating, the Ferris wheel, which got teleported by Cody Gizmody, appeared right in front of her, and that meant she had to take immediate avoiding course of action to avoid crashing into that Ferris wheel, which led her to dropping the crown and losing it again. Oh, so close, sweetie, to your life goal, but just so far as well. We then also got Arby, who seemed like he was on an island playing off on his own, and Alex's treehouse got teleported there. Although I will say about this particular episode, I was kind of surprised to not see Sid make an appearance at all. But to be fair, I'm not complaining, cause I would definitely rather to have see Arby in this episode than Sid. Although I wonder what that means, because usually we don't see Arby ever away apart from Sid. So I wonder if it's possible Sid and Arby might have had a falling out. And then in the next shot, we finally got to see what Adventure City would look like in the regular Paw Patrol animation style. And of course, we got to see Liberty again, which was pretty cool. And then we also, of course, got the town hall, which got teleported to the Dino Wilds, and we got to see Rex again. It was pretty nice to see him again after a while. I know he recently appeared in one of the recent Dino Rescue episodes, but it's always nice to see this pup. And then we got the Chickaletta statue, which got teleported down to Poplantis, and Coral realized it as well. And then Captain Turbot's boat, along with himself and Francois, got teleported right in the middle of the highway road, and which we all got to see the return of Al again, who made his debut appearance pretty recently in the Big Truck Pops sub-series. Then Cody Gizmody then decided to move all of the citizens of Adventure Bay, or at least a few of them, onto the lookout tower and tried to get rid of more of the buildings. And of course, it wouldn't be a regular normal Paw Patrol episode without, of course, Mayor Goodway's tulips being thrashed around again. That will never get old. That will always get me from the show. I know it's a running gag that can sometimes get annoying, but I just can't help but laugh every time that happens. And then, when the citizens of Adventure Bay were getting pretty unhappy and upset with what Cody Gizmody was doing, she then threatened them and would declare that she would send all of them onto the moon. And I was like, whoa, okay, this antagonist is actually very serious. And in my opinion, Cody Gizmody has probably been one of the greatest, well, maybe not the best, but definitely one of the best antagonists and villains we've had in this series. And unlike all the other antagonists we've actually gotten in the series, she's, in my opinion, actually been the most competent that the Paw Patrol actually had to face, because I can't really think of any mistakes Cody Gizmody did compared to any of the other villains. And she was basically just beat because the Paw Patrol outsmarted her and had a much better plan than her, which was pretty nice to see. But of course, when she tried to send all of them to the moon, her relocator didn't have enough power. So she had to recharge it by sunlight and wait for a while until it would get fully charged. In the meantime, when the Paw Patroller finally got back to Ryder and the pups to take them in, and Ryder basically tried to come up with a game plan of how to try to stop Cody Gizmody, all of their side Paw Patrol members ended up calling them, and Sweetie and RB too, which I found that to be a little bit. I'd say this was a hole in the plot a little bit because, in my opinion, Sweetie and RB didn't really have a good reason on why they should help the Paw Patrol. I mean, it was nice that they did, but I didn't really feel like there was any real motivation for either of them to do that, especially Sweetie. But maybe Sweetie, after all, has taken a change of faith. I mean, we saw pretty recently when her and RB met up in that episode that she actually does care for others and isn't always full of herself. So maybe she actually is taking a bright turn of events. Also, I question, doesn't this make Sweetie and RB now interim members of the Paw Patrol? I find it pretty funny that back in the early days of this fandom, we were basically joking around, making jokes that there was no way that Sweetie would ever become a member of the Paw Patrol, let alone team up and help them. And now, pretty recently, she's come to their aid multiple times. How have things changed and turned? So then, Ryder gives out a plan for each of the pups to follow, like Chase, Rocky, Zuma, Marshall, and Rubble. Well, not Rocky. Actually, Zuma, Rubble, Chase, and Marshall to distract the drones and to lead them away, while Rocky and Sky would work together to try to get the relocator to stop, and then reverse it back so they could teleport all of their side members to come to Adventure Bay as quickly as possible and to help them stop Cody Gizmody and to return the city and town back to normal. And they succeeded and managed to do that. But after Cody Gizmody stopped chasing the other pups, she realized that her relocator has teleported back all of the buildings, which meant Rocky and Sky have actually set it back to reverse. So when she went back to the lookout, and Rocky and Sky then decided to retreat. And when she realized that it would still take too long for her to send the rest of the citizens of Adventure Bay into the moon, she decided to make another course of action and decided to have all of her drones combine together to make one wrecking machine, which I believe she called the... I actually can't remember what the name of this the rig was. So please let me know down in the comment section what the name of this rig was, because some of the names she made for her inventions I can't really remember. And then, of course, we got this epic, like, Avengers Endgame scene with Ryder and all of the pups teaming up and working together and to try to take down Cody Gizmody. And they did that. And what I really loved is every single pup and member got to do a part in this episode. Not literally, not a single pup or member was left out during this. Everyone did their part. After they succeeded in taking down Cody Gizmody's rig, that of course sent her Skyrim flying off into circles and saying that they had to quote unquote save her. Although, to be honest, if I were the Paw Patrol, I would probably just leave her spinning, if I'm being brutally honest. But because Cody Gizmody's Skyrim was shaking and circling so much, when it actually was when the relocator was actually fully charged and about to send all of the citizens of Adventure Bay onto the moon, she ended up hitting the relocator by accident, which teleported her and LED onto the moon. Luckily, she did have a force of shield to, I think, allow her to breathe. So, it's actually kind of nice to see Paw Patrol actually use logic for once in their show and show that they actually can't breathe out in space, which I thought was pretty cool to see. But then, the next line Cody Gizmody said was pretty interesting. She said that this wasn't going to be the last they were going to see of her, and that she was going to build a spaceship. So that leaves me to wonder, could this be a potential foreshadowing or teaser that we might actually get a Space Patrol sub-series in the future? Because it seems like that's probably what they're trying to go for the future. So of course, Ryder and the pups saved the town from from Cody Gizmody, and the whole of Adventure Bay ended up bringing in a big celebration to celebrate all of Ryder and all of the members saving them. And it was also pretty nice to see a Sorensen with her plane. It's actually not that often we see Ace, so was pretty cool to see her as well. And then Ryder and every single member of the Paw Patrol, and also former antagonists who decided to help them out, made the very popular and infamous Paw Patrol call sign at the end of the episode, saying, "Whenever you're in trouble, just yelp for help." And at the very end of the episode, we got one last hilarious gag with Mayor Humdinger that actually made me burst my bubble and laugh my eyes out. He said, "Hey, this is a parade, just for me." And then he's like, "Wait, hold on. What did I miss? That scene at the end had me bursting out in laughter, not gonna lie. This was definitely one of the better jokes that Paw Patrol has came up with in recent episodes. And that was it. That was the end of Paw Patrol All Paws on Deck. And even though this might not be my all-time favorite episode, considering the low amount of screen time, because keep in mind, this was only a 22-minute episode, so they really had to cram and squeeze everything in. And I do agree that I do still wish it would have been a 44-minute special, because if it was, then I genuinely think this could have been one of the greatest Paw Patrol episodes ever. But I will say, for once, I'm actually not going to criticize this team, because considering, as I said, the low amount of time that they had to squeeze through in this 22 minutes, with these many characters and members doing something and their interactions with each other, I actually think they probably did the best that they could. And I honestly, in a 22-minute time frame, can't really think much of anything else they could have done better. And overall, this has been a very entertaining episode, and this is probably the best episode we're ever going to get in season 9. Although, that's a pretty low bar, considering how bad most of the episodes for season 9 we got. So overall, on a season 9 episode standard, I think I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10. Based on an overall series quality episode, then I'm probably gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. But I will say, it's a very solid episode, very fun, and I know the fans would love this. And honestly, this is an episode that I wouldn't mind coming back to and rewatching again. So that's it for my review of the All Paws on Deck episode. So what do you think of it? Let me know down in the comments what you thought of this episode. And please don't forget to hit that like button on this video. And if you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you all potentially in future videos. When? I don't know when, but we'll see. Probably the next one will probably be an update on the Mighty movie whenever we do get one. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next one next time. Peace out, guys.